So the Pittsburgh Steelers just found a big blessing in disguise, in my opinion. And we're looking at as a possible solution for the Steelers receiver situation, T. Higgins. He's no longer on the market. He was just hit with the second franchise tag in a row by the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, it was probably a pipe dream, huge competition, huge money. But anyways, there's a realistic situation. There's a realistic receiver that everyone's ignoring, and that's Christian Kirk of the Jacksonville Jaguars. What's up? I'm Sean. This is Sports Talk Steelers. Really young channel wanting to be your source for Pittsburgh Steelers information and news. Hit the subscribe button. Would love to have you join us here. So talking about Christian Kirk, the Steelers, they came within inches of a trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars for wide receiver Christian Kirk at the deadline last year. A deal was totally in place, but then he immediately sustained a collarbone injury. Prematurely ended his year. The deal falls through, but a year later, now he's a good fit and he's readily attainable. But he's not attainable just quite yet. He's still under contract with the Jaguars. Let's talk about that a little bit. I mean, Jacksonville, he is set to be a main cut candidate by all the news sources I can find. It's becoming pretty evident that Jacksonville is going to drop him into the free market. So they don't have to cut him, though. They have over $31 million in cap space heading into the season. That's not really that much more. That's not that much for the team to have. If they want to open more spending money, cutting Kirk makes total sense. He'd save them over $10 million if he got cut tomorrow. If he does get released, then the Steelers are definitely going to come calling. And I think he's going to be available, and I think he should be the next receiver brought on by this team. The Jacksonville Jaguars moving on. They offered him a huge deal to bring him to Jacksonville only 3 years ago, but now he's not quite worth that big contract that he signed. He was a 4-year, $72 million deal, but now that deal's ballooning up to $24.1 million as a cap hit in this year of 2025. He'll have the same cap hit last year. This is a second year they're carrying this. Releasing him, get the $10 million and move on. So from the Steelers' viewpoint, he might not be at the level of Higgins, I'm going to be honest, but a promising addition. He'll be available also for a lot more reasonable cap hit than someone like T. Higgins at $24 million. The Steelers have a need. We're looking at only George Pickens having more than 550 receiving yards for Pittsburgh in 2024. Calvin Austin, he came on quite nicely. He had a nice season as your number 2 receiver, but really additional offensive weapons are needed to make this a formidable threat in the NFL. And adding a receiver such as Kirk, that give the Pittsburgh Steelers a more capable starter opposite Pickens. And then Austin, he can slide into more of a wide receiver 3 role. Lots of receiving depth here. And he had his best statistical season recently. That was his first year with the Jaguars. With the Jaguars, he had 84 catches with 1,108 receiving yards, 8 touchdowns in 2022. And then he eclipsed a 750-yard plateau in 2023. And then also he had some really good years with the Arizona Cardinals. And we're looking at a career of 404 receptions, 5,176 yards, 29 touchdowns, and that's while averaging 12.8 yards per catch in his 93 NFL games. I think he's an easy choice. I think he's a good get. And also, don't forget third-round pick Roman Wilson. He could very well come in and totally fill out this wide receiver core. Coming into the season last year, there was so much talk that he was actually going to be the number 2. But then he had the injuries, barely played all year. You're going to have him come back on the team full bore. You're looking at a guy that can high point the ball really well in the end zone. Lots of great speed, great hands. He could be actually the dark horse to take over this number 2 receiving role. But I'd really like to see you guys kick the tires on Christian Kirk. Perfect addition, and the price will be right. You guys let me know what you think. I will see you in the comments. And hey, Combine is just a week away. We'll talk soon.